So good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today I'm joined by two members from the band Deliria, and they're a post-metal, black metal band from San Francisco, California, and they're about to release their second full-length sophomore album called Phantasm, which is going to be out on May the 3rd. So I'm joined by David Scanlon and Jade Forsythe. I don't know, forgive me if I didn't say your last name correct, but so Jade is the bass player and David is a guitar player, and we're here to talk all about the album. So first of all, how are you guys tonight?
Doing good, Hector. Thanks for having us out here. We're excited.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah,
no, doing really good.
Yeah, and you know what? I listened to the description of the band, and I listened to the first album, Nausea, and I listened to Phantasm, which is coming out, and it says black metal, but there's a lot of prog in this, especially in this album. I felt like, especially with the album opener, Smoke and Mirrors, I really like how that song starts, because when I saw black metal, I thought it was gonna start like more like pummeling and like with that black metal aesthetic, but I'm like, no, I'm like, there's like a jazzy, like prog type of element to that one. So I liked it because I like when bands experiment and it's that's like one sound. So let's talk a little bit about, you know, the history of Deliria. I know you guys formed a few years ago. So I think, David, you were when you recorded the first one, Nausea, right?
Yeah, the band began, you know, kind of as my solo writing project, and we were really still a project when we released that first album, Nausea. It was only after that we did that album in 5 days in the studio, me, Jared, and Adam, and only after that we kind of got our live lineup together and started becoming a band.
Yeah, awesome. So Jade, so I know you released Nausea, and then you got, I think, another guitar player, and Jade joined the band, and I'm guessing that gave the band a more like bigger sound. So tell us a little bit when you joined Deliria, Jade.
Yeah, it was, I believe, 2018, and the band was super motivated to play live shows, and I just happened to know our guitar player, Brent, and he brought me on, and it's just been so fun, and we've been playing all sorts of shows all over the Bay, and working on this album, Phantasm, the past few years, and so it's just been an awesome experience, like learning an album, helping be a part of that process, and recording an album, and yeah, these guys are just the best, so it's been a ton of fun.
So yeah, so I know that you guys recorded this album between sometime 2020 to 2022, and now you're releasing it this year. How would you say the band has grown from Nausea to Phantasm? Because I listened to both albums, and I thought Phantasm, sorry, had more, I think it had more dynamics than the first record, even though the first record does have it. But I think on this one, the band, it seems to be like more comfortable in experimenting and adding different elements to the sound of the band.
Yeah, it's a huge step for us. Like you kind of called out in the first song, we've got some prog elements, we have some other elements going on. You know, a lot of those we would have never done in the first album. Just kind of keeping the scope like relatively narrow. In this album, we really made a concerted effort to keep our songs really accessible. We also have a lot of a darker approach. It's a lot heavier of an album, and we feel like that's kind of the step that we've taken. We're seeing for the future as well.
Yeah, how's I know I've interviewed different bands from San Francisco. How's the metal scene there? Because I think you guys have, you know, it's such a musical city. I visited it, and I think you could see that there's like music in different areas, and it's a city that is a contrasting city, like from like beauty to like danger in some areas. So I think that goes well in the music, because this album, to me, there's some parts where you get like that beautiful, like some beautiful tones, but you also have the aggressive like black metal shrieking vocals to it. So how much of like the environment of the Bay Area you think it inspires you?
I think it's a lot. You know, you said it really well. We've got some beautiful passages, and we've got some really ugly and dirty sounds to our full sound. And we've also got the variety where, you know, anywhere here in the Bay Area, you could be an hour away from any different type of climate. So like up where Jade lives in Santa Rosa, there's a really sweet cemetery that we filmed the Phantasm music video at. And, you know, all the way like south towards like Santa Cruz, where you've got beaches and beauty on the coast as well. So I think at its heart, we're really kind of more of like an urban city band that's, you know, the day-to-day experience of life, but having those narrow edges that we can, you know, go out towards on the extremes really fits us really well.
Yeah. The only thing I remember about Santa Cruz is the vampires from the Lost Boys.
Exactly.
Yeah, on the boardwalk.
Like I remember that movie, and yeah, but so
But that's very much our vibe with the forest but then also the urban, like that example you gave with the beautiful and the disgusting, or whatever you want to say.
Well, I think every city
really
has
describes
something.
us.
Yeah, every city has something like that, because Puerto Rico, yeah, like people see, yeah, there's beaches and beautiful things, but there's also some dangerous places, and you know, yeah, I think that's in every major city in the world.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. In particular here, you know, we've got San Francisco. Probably the better metal scene is across the bay in Oakland, which definitely has that you know, very dirty and violent type of an atmosphere, which fits the metal scene really well. We notice a lot of touring bands will pass over San Francisco for a variety of reasons, but Oakland was really the spot for many years before the pandemic for a lot of bands to roll through.
Really? Why do they pass San Francisco? I'm curious.
Well, like actually Dark Funeral played in San Francisco. They got their cars broken into, and their I think their outfits stolen. I think their gear was safe, but their outfits all got stolen.
Yeah, a lot of theft, unfortunately. I know when we play really any of the Bay cities, Oakland or San Francisco, like someone always needs to be watching their stuff and our gear and whatnot. So it's just unfortunate the city's become so scandalous in that way. But I was going to add too that like we really only have so many venues left after the pandemic. So a big one right now is Neck of the Woods, which is where we'll be playing our album release show in May. And that is like one of the most safe feeling venues, like knock on wood, it stays that way. But it is also one of the only ones left in San Francisco at this level of band. So, but yeah, Oakland has some good ones still. So Elbow Room, the Golden Bowl, and we had the Metro for a long time. Hopefully that comes back.
They're doing it outside now. There's like a brewery not far from the old Metro. So they're doing outside shows.
Interesting. So I saw the music video for Phantasm, which is the lead single, and it's out right now if people want to listen to it. And I think that's a good one because it's like a 4-minute and 12-second song. So it's not that long. So it packs a punch because it's got that black metal aesthetic to it. It's got like some really fast guitar riffing. So what is that song about, the Phantasm?
So that song's about being possessed by a demon. It's
That's
really theatrical. Yeah. And it's you know, a lot of our songs are really based in real life and everyday you know, experiences. That one's not. It's really about,
oh yeah, I was going to ask you, who was possessed by a demon, like
in the video or in general?
In real life.
Oh.
I don't know. You I may be
surprised, I guess.
Yeah,
one infects another.
Yeah, you know, I went to Washington D.C. and I went to the stairs, the famous Exorcist stairs, and
oh yes.
So I I think that 2 years ago, and I put a picture with my daughter, and I have some very people like religious like family, and they're like, oh my God, did anything happen there? I'm like, it's a stairs, and it was a fake movie.
Yeah,
well, you can't be too
very
careful.
Superstitious.
Very
sure. Yeah.
superstitious. Yeah, and the house isn't even next to the stairs. It's a little bit further away. But yeah, there's some big ass stairs. Like if you fall down the stairs, you would break your neck because
You think
they're
even a
so
demon would die?
well, the demon did die in the movie, so yeah, it proves my point. Yeah, but and I also a human. So yeah, so the video, so it's about somebody being possessed. Like what inspired did you like movies or like reading like stuff from exorcisms? Because it's something that's obviously has been happening around the world. Hopefully, none of us, I won't ever get to see it. So was it like an exorcism or not exorcism, like a possession in mind that inspired, or just like in general?
Yeah, great question. Like I kind of came up with the concept of phantasm beforehand, and just kind of the ghostly element to that and what would be a cool atmosphere to write a song about. And the demonic possession really just sort of hit the vibe as hard as anything else. Also really tied in the artwork. I kind of came across that at the same time I wrote the song. So it all really kind of came together at the right time, and made the most sense for us. It was just like the most fun idea to make the song about and make the album about.
Yeah, no, the album cover I'm gonna show. It's a pretty cool album cover, and I know you reworked the logo too. So here we
Yes,
have.
yeah.
So yeah, there you see the demon in the bottom, and like the logo, and there's a forest. Yeah, it's a pretty cool album cover. I like the logo because it looks cool, even though you can't read it that well, but at least it looks like a logo. Because
It's more legible than our last one, so
oh
we're
yes,
proud of it for sure.
yeah, you know those black metal bands where it looks like a bunch of trees sticking together, and
Yes.
like, where is the name? But yeah, no, I like it, and you had that hood figure that it could. I didn't know if it was. I thought it was like death, because it does look like a figure, like a death figure. So, who did the artwork?
Pierre-Alain D from he lives in France, 3MMI Design. He's been awesome to work with. I actually first contacted him about this artwork back in 2018. So he's been really patient with us as we kind of went through the studio sessions to get everything done. We've had obviously some setbacks with timeline, but since we didn't necessarily have a drop dead date for release, it really worked well to make something we're proud of. So he's been really patient. I know he's really excited to get some exposure now for this artwork. He certainly deserves it.
Yeah, no, it's a great artwork, and it goes with the music. So for you guys, you had time working with this. What is the band's process when you're creating music?
So far, I'm the sole songwriter for the structure of the songs and most of the riffs. There's some leads and other layers that everyone else has added as well. But really, like, my process is kind of isolation. I've found it a little bit hard in recent times to write new songs. I'm kind of just limited to riffs. That's sort of an effect of modern life, and like your phone blowing up 10 times a minute and just kind of not being able to focus. So like over the pandemic, it's been kind of good to kind of get riffs down, and we've got a certain amount of library to hit on that third album. Brent and I were just reviewing some riffs last night. So but the process is, I usually write the bones and the structure, and who's ever drumming for us in the studio, whether it be Jared, Andrew, or Billy, they're free to modify anything. I just kind of come up with drum machine parts as best as fits the riffs. So once we've got those in place, Adam writes the lyrics. He comes up with song concepts and all onto himself, and we kind of just layer it in there in the studio.
Awesome. So Jade, I want to talk to Jade too. So Jade, for you, like the writing process, what was it like for this new record?
Yeah, well, so I worked closely with David on learning the music and everything. I mean, I have to give pretty much full credit to David and Brent for the actual writing of the bass parts and such. But, working together on learning the songs and getting my skills up to par to actually record the songs in studio was a process. So, like just drilling them and working on metronome and of course making it as tight as possible, which was an awesome process to go through and really challenging. It was my first bass tracking process in studio, because I'm also a vocalist, so it was a different experience in the studio. But it's very exciting, and I think for the future we'll probably maybe be more collaborative in writing. And now that my skills have gotten better, because we recorded this album 3 years ago, something like that. So
it feels like a long time.
Yeah. So we're really happy it's gonna get out into the world and be out for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah, awesome. And I'm just glad that we talk about being possessed by demons before the cleaning lady passed next to it. She would be like, man, she'd be like, they're talking about demon possession.
I don't know what the heck was going on.
So call the priest. You have a priest knocking on your door.
Yeah, or something like that. So yeah, the album, I really like it. I like that. Like I said, it doesn't. It's like, because my issue with sometimes with black metal, it's like all the, like sometimes the production and like that it's all this. It sounds like they're trying to be like aggressive all the time. But on this one, the production sounds great. And I think you have black metal vocals, but there's melody to it, which I quite enjoyed. And the album actually closes with a song that's like a 10-minute track with Oblivion, like almost 11-minute track, which I thought was a great song because it goes through some like different areas. And there's I believe there's some guest solos on some of the songs, right, David?
Yeah, definitely. We've got a guest solo from Nick, who's our producer, on Covenant, and we've got a guest solo from Tony from Dawn of Ouroboros on Reckless as well.
Yeah, because I read and I've listened to Dawn of Ouroboros. So you talk about demon possession. What other themes do you touch on this record?
Good question. We've got
like losing your mind.
Yeah, losing your
mind
mind.
in an attic.
Song called Attic is often themed with losing your mind in
Attics
isolation.
are weird. Yeah. You know what? No one in Puerto Rico has attics.
Really?
That's a very American thing, because I don't know, you guys invite evil shit to your homes by building attics.
Yeah, a lot of times the attics here are like inaccessible too, so it kind of adds to the mystery and the fear behind them and what's lurking inside the attic besides a ton of asbestos.
I wouldn't go a fucking attic to do anything. So yeah, we don't have no attics here. Well, our houses are in cement, so yeah, no.
Do you have basements? Do you get basements?
Yeah, we can get basements.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Basements can be creepy, but I think attics are creepier. I don't know why. There's something about, like,
I would agree.
Yeah,
I would agree.
Like,
you can lose your mind in either of them.
Yeah.
You
could lose your mind like either of them. But if you like a lot of horror movies, there's always like, oh, what's in the attic? There's always something in the attic. So yeah.
I mean, I think especially with this new album and our lyrical content, I very much get the feeling of like 80s horror film or like even 90s horror film. I think we channeled that a lot. So it'd be interesting to talk to Adam about that, more detailed about what he was drawing from for inspiration. But we like to joke we're kind of like that horror, like hippie black metal band, or like whatever.
A funny story about that. Earlier I was listening to the album while I was taking a shower.
Right on.
I kept like looking. I felt like something's gonna come in here. with this type of music. So yeah, it has that effect.
I mean, that's brutal. I'd be too scared to do that.
Well, yeah, I had to listen to it. at some point, like, so I'm like, yeah, I'll keep listening while I'm taking a shower. And I'm like, yeah, this is like it's uneasy, but yeah, I think that you capture if you got a black metal, yeah, record that inspires that, I think it's evoking some feeling, because there's some black metal records that I've listened to, and I find them corny. So they like I'm like, oh, I can't take too seriously, like when they're like, oh, corpse paint sometimes, and like the last Bath record to me was terrible. But yeah,
Agreed.
yeah, but and
Yeah.
yeah, I think they're trying to be so evil that it's corny. But on this album, I don't think you're trying to be evil. I think you're just talking about like some like creepy subjects in a cool way.
Yeah, I think it's the genuineness of our music that really goes a long way, because people have a hard time putting us in a box. And like we have, of course, black metal, but we've opened for a lot of different kind of bands at this point. Like we've opened for Tyr, which is like a folk metal band, and we've opened for ZENITH Passage, technical death metal, and plenty of black metal shows. But it's really cool that we can just kind of be ourselves and not have to be overly black metal, wear corpse paint, try really hard at something we're not. So I think that comes through the music.
Yeah, I think in the beginning of 2000s, like a band like Death Heaven were the ones who like started like mixing, because there's like a black metal element, but there's other elements that I swear to you that sounds like shoegaze or the Smashing Pumpkins to me.
Yeah, they're interesting. I mean, I love Death Heaven. That's
they're
a
from
very interesting sound. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why
we're all Smashing Pumpkins fans too.
I live for the Smashing Pumpkins. I love them. Even when Billy, even were their last albums, he promised me Melancholy Part 2, and I'm like, no, this isn't it. So yeah, I always like to talk about like influences of musicians, like David, when you were starting into music, like what bands inspired you to become a musician?
Great question. The first musical influence that I had was Michael Jackson, and for many years when I was a kid, that's all I listened to. I didn't care about any other bands or any other artists. And I think that maybe the Thriller album and the concept kind of planted a seed in me.
Yeah.
And when I grew up a little bit, I was in 5th grade, my friend got me the first Rob Zombie album. And that just sort of like unlocked some of the darkness vibes and some of the evil imagery. And then when I listened to Slayer in high school, that's when it just sort of like was a point of no return for me.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned Thriller by Michael Jackson, because to this day, that's the best music video of all time to me. Like,
oh yeah,
they do music videos now with effects. I'm sorry. Like, that was like a movie. And that actually, I remember watching that video as a kid, and it frightened me. Like, I really thought that Michael Jackson turned into a zombie. So yeah, the choreography, and yeah, even though it's not metal at all, it's a pop record, but you know that music video, it's as metal as it can get.
Well,
Like,
it's the practical effects, we don't have that anymore. Very little, at least, it's the smaller bands with lower budgets that are still doing practical effects. So
yeah, and when you think about it, why have a video with like super CGI? Like, nobody fucking watches videos anymore. Like, there's no MTV. Well, there's an MTV, but it should just be called TV for now, because there's no music anymore. And
I know, sad.
And people watch music videos on YouTube. So instead of like a super, like just a good video, I don't think they have to spend that much right now on a music video. As like in the past, like in the 90s, you had to, I think you had to do it. You had to make those big music videos if you were a big band. So going now to you, Jade, what bands or musicians inspired you to pick the bass?
For bass, yeah, I mean, I started out as a guitar player at 12, and love Metallica, as many do, and started playing guitar because of James Hetfield. And then I wanted to start playing in bands. So really the only open positions were bass. So then I started playing bass pretty much overnight and really loved it. And started out in a hardcore band at 12. So played some of my biggest shows in San Diego to this day. And it was super fun. And then just kind of like fell in love with live music, playing on stage and such. So I don't really have a ton of particular bass players, honestly. I know that sounds really lame, but I honestly draw more from guitar players and people like Michael Amott, and I'm a huge Opeth fan and love the more technical playing and just like stuff like that. So I think so far it's brought an interesting playing to my bass. It's like I play with a pick and I play a little bit more like a guitar player, I would say. I'd like to play more with my fingers and slapped bass and all that. That'd be cool one day. But yeah, I draw from a lot of those classic bands like Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth Arch Enemy.
Yeah, cool. So the album's gonna be out in a few weeks, and you mentioned that you're going to have a release show. Is it gonna be the same day that the album drops, or the day after?
The day after.
The day after, yeah, because so the Saturday, because now album drops on Friday. Back in the day, it was on Tuesday.
Yep.
But you know what? I'm thinking about it, like, makes sense more on a Friday. Like, when people get paid for, like, Tuesday, like, I remember when it was Tuesday, it was a pain in the ass to get records. Well, but now it's, you know, it's easier. So you're gonna have that album release show, and you mentioned before that you're already like working on new songs, because these may be new songs for the public, but they're actually old to you because they're already like 2 years old to you. So you like what is the, like, can you tell us a little bit of like what is like the sound that you guys are working out for future release? Are you gonna keep with the sound that is on Phantasm, or are you experimenting more?
It's definitely going to be taking ideas from Phantasm, expanding on them. But as really has been the theme for the first and second album here is having a lot of different elements. So we kind of joke sometimes, but it's really not a joke. Like, we might come out with a pop album next time. Like, you never can be too sure.
Well, you could. Well, if there's bands that makes like shoegaze with black gaze, there's a whole lot of gazing right now. Like, because this year there's grunge gaze. I'm like, okay, like they're just mixing gaze with everything. Like, just put some distorted guitars, look at your fucking pedals, and just put the gaze part to it. So yeah,
Leaning lady gaze right now.
She'll be like, oh my God, those people, what are they talking about? So yeah, so besides that show, are there any more shows, or for now you're concentrating on this show?
We hope to have some kind of some announcements on new shows in the near future, but right now that's the only one that's booked. So we'll have some more over the summer for sure, but we are trying to branch out of the Bay Area, play some more West Coast dates. So if you want to see us in your city, like, send us an email. It does really help.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, like here in Puerto Rico, like a lot of bands come. So yeah, the type of band, your band, you know, people would totally go see that type of music. We have a varied scene. So yeah, guys, like what can, before, you know, I let you guys go, sometimes there's some videos that ask some questions like that I haven't done in a while. I haven't done like the top 5 albums that you take to a like a desert island. So yeah, I could do that with you guys. So David, if you were stranded on an island, like, what 5 records would you take with you, and why?
Well, I was going to be I'll tell you, number one's probably Dance of December Souls, Catatonia. I also would take I don't know which Forgotten Woods record, maybe the EP. I don't know how to pronounce it. Probably take an Alcest record. We'll say the second one, and maybe the first Agalloch record as well, as it's kind of off top of my head. And I'll take Fields of the Nephilim, probably Elysium. that 4 or 5?
Yeah, no, you said 5. Those are good picks. You'll be depressed on that island, but they're good picks. What about you, Jade?
Oh man. I would have to say first foremost Ghost Reveries by Opeth.
Oh yeah.
I would probably also say Damnation by Opeth, and just to get a good cry out on that island. Probably Wages of Sin by Arch Enemy. What else? You know, I've been absolutely loving Camelot. March of Mephisto, that album, I just can't get hold of. It makes me feel like I'm on an adventure.
Oh yeah, they're a great power metal band. Like
yeah. And let's see, probably Dimmu Borgir, Enthroned Darkness Triumphant. That's pretty high on the list. And you know, I probably Evanescence. I gotta throw an old one in there. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, they're coming to Puerto Rico in a few months, and they sold out like 2 nights. I was surprised that they sold out 2 nights, because I saw them in
they're huge.
Well, I saw them in 2011 here, and they didn't sold out. I know they're huge, but Puerto Rico here, and metal, like some bands, but I was surprised. But apparently, there's a lot of like younger emo kids who didn't have the money in 2011, so they're going now. But yeah,
now they're adults.
I'm guessing you're talking about Fallen.
Yes. Yeah. Fallen.
Yeah, that's their best record.
So dynamic.
Yeah, that's a great record, and plus you got her look, you know. Yeah,
she's been my idol a long time. It just happened subconsciously, I guess.
Oh yeah, awesome. So guys, you know, it's been great to talk with you, David and Jade. And the album Deliria, the band Deliria, the Phantasm album, is gonna be out on May the 3rd, so roughly a month and a half from now. I'll post the link for people who want to pre-order that. Are you gonna have it on like vinyl and other physical formats?
Yeah, we've got vinyls. They're here. They're looking good, and we can't wait to get them in everybody's hands. We've got CDs, digipacks on the way, and we've also got a special release coming tomorrow, which is going to be a 7-inch vinyl. So stay tuned for that.
Awesome. So I'll post the link for people who want to pre-order the album, and I'll post the link for the music video so people can watch that music video, and you know, check out how you guys like did a music video in a cemetery. You know, that how more metal can that get? That do and was it nighttime? Because the music video, like, you can tell
it was like daytime. Well, dusk. You're right. Yeah, we actually had a lot of difficulties filming that because we believed that there were some spirits messing with our equipment. So we didn't actually know if we were going to get footage or not. So I think we ended up having 3 corrupted files.
Would you imagine, like, if you watch the music video and there's like a ghost like in the back and you never saw it? And
I mean,
there is actually, if you look close enough.
There is a ghost. If you look close enough in the beginning, you'll see what we think is a spirit. But you let us know. Let us know in the YouTube comments.
I'll have to watch it with more detail. I'm like, unless it's not like a cardboard of Ted Danson, like that Freeman and a Little Baby. I don't know if you're old enough to remember that, where people were like, there's a ghost in the picture, and no, it was a cardboard that they put. And I remember here in Puerto Rico, they did a show, like a talk show, where they were discussing how that ghost was in the movie. I'm like, oh no.
Was it in a curtain or something?
Yes, in a curtain.
I remember that.
Yeah, and there were so many overlays that it was a kid that shot himself, and he was there, and I'm like, but it was a car, but they said no, it was just a cardboard that nobody noticed that was left there. And they take a shot, but it's kind of creepy.
It is scary. It scared me as a kid. So it's funny you bring that up. But yeah, go rewatch the video and let us know if you see what we saw.
I'll watch it, but in the daytime.
Yes.
Not in the shower this time?
Yeah, no, not at this. No, no, I don't want to be like seeing stuff like I'm not into ghost hunters or anything like
Okay.
that. Like, no, I
Oh,
don't.
we
I
like
don't want
ghost
to.
hunters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We like Zach Bagans.
yeah,
Zach
no,
Bagans,
yeah, nothing like
#1
that.
fans.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of cool, but I like it because those programs they go and they're like talking like is somebody here. I'm like, are they expecting someone to say, yeah,
What's
I'm
up?
here, like leave this place or something like that.
Yeah, get out, whatever.
Like, get
Well,
out,
the cemetery was pretty sweet. There's some really unkempt graves, some cracked tombs and stuff. So it's really wild. There's like that part of the cemetery, and then the really done up part of the cemetery right next to it. So I don't feel like those ghosts didn't pay their rent or something, and they stopped keeping up the cemetery at that part.
No, the only cemetery that I went that was really interesting was in Paris, where Jim Morrison is buried, but no, Jim didn't come out to greet me that day. Or
Darn.
I didn't see no naked Indian either, so no, nothing like that. So yeah, I'll rewatch that music video, and people comment like, did you see a spirit in the Phantasm video? If so, does the band owe the spirit some money?
Some royalties. We're
Some
good
royalties, like he'll come with you like in 7 days, pay me the royalties for the music video or something.
for it. Oh no, I gotta sage my house now.
Yeah. So people, check out Deliria's new album Phantasm out on May the 3rd. If you like black metal with some experimentation, check them out, and pretty cool stuff. And so I want to thank you guys for joining me on the couch virtually tonight, and it's been awesome to talk about the music, and glad that I got this promo and I got to listen to the music, because I was surprised, because it's not just like traditional black metal. There's more stuff in the music that I think makes it interesting, at least for me. So anything you like to say to the fans before we go?
No, thank you. I really appreciate you having us on. We're stoked to release the album in a month and a half or so, and stay tuned for more updates. We got more on the way, and that's about it.
Yeah, please follow us on all socials, Facebook, Instagram. Maybe we'll make a TikTok for the ghost video. We'll
Before
see.
it goes banned.
Yeah.
Before they ban TikTok. Yeah, follow on all the socials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before.
So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.